Hey Trinity family, Pastor Nick here, and I just wanted to film another pastoral video, especially in light of rising COVID cases as well as the new Tier 3 mitigation measures that have been put back into place by our government. Talking just a little bit about what this means for us in terms of ministry and some of the choices that we're having to make, and also hopefully to address some of your concerns, especially when it comes to indoor worship. First and foremost, regarding the Tier 3 mitigations, what the governor's office has said is that they're actually discouraging indoor gatherings unless you all already live together in the same household. And what this means is that even groups of 10 or less are not supposed to be together unless you are already living under the same roof. And so what we're encouraging all of our small groups to do is actually to move back to online or virtual spaces for their small group meetings if they haven't done so already. We're also talking to some of our staff, even here in the office, about encouraging them to work from home if they have the ability to do so. And again, we're just trying to do this because one of the things that is being found over and over again is that actually one of the primary ways that the virus is being spread is through informal social gatherings. Specifically those smaller ones where people, their guards kind of get let down. We start taking off masks and things like that. And so we want to do our part to protect our neighbors and to work as best we can with our officials to limit the spread of this pandemic. We're excited about the latest news regarding the vaccine and looking forward to the day that that gets rolled out. But in the meantime, it still takes us being vigilant and being responsible. And so that's why we're making that change and that shift. That being said, weekend worship services are considered an essential activity. And so we are still having in-person worship at all of our locations for the time being. And here's a little bit about why we've decided to keep those gatherings even while we're limiting some of the other things that we do. Looking at any cases in Illinois that have been traced to churches worshiping together, what we've found is that churches where there was a COVID outbreak were churches that had none of the safety measures in place that we have in place. These were churches that were continuing to meet without mask restrictions, without social distancing, having worship services that were an hour in length or longer, with people singing, people interacting as though there was nothing going on. And yeah, there were some outbreaks of COVID related to those worshiping communities. But in communities that observed basic social distancing and mask guidelines, there really haven't been any major outbreaks. And we're really excited to actually have that data and to be able to say that. And so to actually talk a little bit about those measures and those safety precautions that we're putting in place, I actually wanted you to have a chance to hear from one of your fellow members. Her name is Janelle. She actually works in the medical profession and can tell you a little bit about how some of these safety precautions really do work and why we're continuing to observe them. So rather than me sharing that with you, why don't you hear from Janelle and have her address some of those concerns.
Hi everybody, my name is Janelle. I am a member of Trinity at Kimberly Way, and I am an advanced practice nurse that's been working during this whole pandemic. I just want to take a minute to talk to you about COVID-19 and the precautions that Trinity is taking. The first and most important thing that all of us can do is wear a mask. I know that you can Google a couple of different opinions about this, but the scientific community and the medical community know irrevocably that masks work. They work to protect others. So if I'm asymptomatic or don't have any symptoms, it's to help me not spread it to other vulnerable populations. But we also know that masks do protect me as well. So we know that the amount of viral load that hits you affects the severity of your disease. And if I wear a mask, that viral load can be reduced to very small numbers, and then my severity of disease is very low. So masks work both to protect others and to protect me. We also know that anyone over the age of 2 is able to wear a mask, and there is absolutely no contraindications for wearing a mask, including asthma, COPD, or heart disease. The only reason that you would not be able to wear a mask is if you have a neurologically developmental condition that will prevent you from wearing one, such as somebody who has autism. Second, social distancing works. We know this too. 6 feet is the accepted number because most likely if a droplet that's infected with COVID-19 can travel up to 6 feet distance from coughing or sneezing. I know there's information out there about that it's airborne or aerosolized. It's exceedingly rare, and it has to be perfect right conditions, most likely in a hospital setting to do that. So it doesn't live in the air. It is on a droplet contact surface. And that's why we remain 6 feet apart, because that's the average distance that a sneeze or a cough can propel a droplet. Lastly, hand washing really works too. This virus is killed with simple soap and water, as well as hand sanitizer 60% or more, which is standard. And as long as you can be vigilant of not touching your eyes, nose, or face, and hand washing often, you will be perfectly safe. Now, these are all precautions that Trinity has taken to keep us safe and so that you can feel comfortable worshiping indoors with us. Hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Well, there you have it. Those are the precautions that we're taking. As always, you can visit our website by going to tlc4u.org/TKW. You'll see all the guidelines that we have in place there. There's a little video showing you what you can expect when you come for in-person worship. There's also a button there where you can register in advance for a service. This just ensures that we don't hit our limit, our attendance limit. It also allows us to do good contact tracing in the event that we do need to reach people if somebody does end up testing positive for COVID. As always, we would encourage you, if you have any symptoms, please stay home. You can still worship online. And we also want to say this, if you're not comfortable being back in person yet, that's okay. We understand that. And that's why online services are still happening at 5 o'clock p.m. on Saturdays and at 8:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings. You can go to tlc4u.online.church and watch those services from the comfort of your own home. As always, we love you guys. We're so excited that we continue to have ways of worshiping together and staying connected, even in these hard times. We're so grateful for the gifts of technology that allow us to do that as well. Especially as we move into the weekend, just wanting to wish you all a very blessed weekend, hoping that your weekend goes well. And stay tuned for an early edition of our e-news next week. It's actually going to be coming out earlier in the week, talking a little bit about some of the holiday things that we have coming up, including our online Thanksgiving Eve service. So as always, if you have any concerns, please reach out to me. Would love to talk with you about those, and God bless. Take care, everyone.